Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Afternoon FM. Today, I am joined by Gil Black Jesus Mateo, also known as Gil. Thank you for coming by, bro.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate this moment.
Gil is an artist.
Amongst many things.
Amongst many things. We're going to go into what these many things mean, a little bit behind his background, what got him into art, what the future holds, and everything in between. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, again, this is kind of like a manifested experience, almost. These are things like I've kind of like imagined myself being when I was younger.
Yeah.
But kind of had it benched until it came up again. So
it's weird that it all kind of ends up like that in
always.
terms of manifestation. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
You feel like you forget about it until it pops up again, and it's just like, oh yeah, I remembered I wanted this.
Manifestation's weird, man, because it's I've noticed that happen in my life like multiple times where I'll sit there and I'll meditate on something that I want, or something like this was a meditation. Right. This was a meditation. Literally, this is our first.
This was or wasn't?
This was.
Oh, for sure.
This prototype was kind of an accident, but this was a meditation. This was weird because this has been around for about a year. This is phenotype. Prototype's been around for over 2 years, but I think we're around 2.5 at this point. I don't know if it's been 6 months since September. 6 months since September.
Right.
But when I don't know, man. When fucking John, shout out to John Fathom. I was talking about doing a UFC type program upstairs, and I was like, John's a madman. He'll fucking like he'll give me a thumbs up on the family meeting on this one, and he's like just save and like wait for the fourth floor.
I met John.
Yeah,
I met John actually. I met him on like kind of an accident almost, because like I don't know if he was supposed to be there, but he was drinking and it was kind of like an event. Well, then again, he did mention that it was his home.
Yeah.
So I guess he should have been there. He was there. So I was there and I was selling art, and he came by as if he was just like a regular every other day kind of guy.
Yeah.
Just gave me some like his pointers and like his opinions on like how he would have done things if he was in my shoes. And
typical is a John Fathom. It sounds like John Fathom.
Does it? For sure. Then I met him. But he
mentioned the polka dots, that there should be more polka dots.
No, actually. So what I painted was, I called it Gerald, because my intention was, when you are at that stage of your life where you feel so, like, lonely, not alone, like, you clearly have, like, somewhat of, like, a family support, friend support, whatever it is, but you feel alone.
Yeah.
The painting was to intend that even in the darkest of moments, even though you feel like the epitomes of disaster, you still have that hope or that sense of like smile through it. So the whole point was it for that point, just to smile through the pain. And he was like, oh wow, that's really cool, but almost looks like me. And he wanted me to draw like or paint a couple or a wife for Gerald. Let's see if I can find the picture for you, but something I think about a lot, and I'm just trying to tackle what that female would look like. Because, like, painting doesn't come as easy to me as drawing does.
Yeah.
So painting takes a little more time for me to construct in my mind before I even get to make it in person.
Do you pre-plan any of your paintings, or you're like, starts off a sketch and then you just develop a sketch?
See, most of my drawings start off as an emotion. Or a type of fear that I'm trying to portray. But I don't want to portray it as predictable as someone who could imagine what that fear is. So I kind of try to think about it differently. So this is the painting that I drew, or I painted, that he thought looked like him. And it's gruesome. It's pretty messed up.
That's beautiful, dude.
And when I was thinking of it, I wasn't even thinking about making like a wife for him, for Gerald. But as he mentioned it, the more ideas came up. And I guess that's the funny thing about artists.
You're the same with like a wig or something.
A wig? Oh, the same face?
Yeah, same face with like a wig.
That's a good idea. The
new American Gothic, you know, the one with the fucking dude with the pitchfork with the wife.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I love that painting.
Yeah.
I love that painting. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. I didn't think about doing it like a replica of the face painting. I was thinking of doing like a contrast flipped between the background of the red, deep red, with the almost opaque green of his skin, and doing the wife as in like a bluish hue, but like a moldy blue, not like a vibrant blue, and with the background being like perhaps like a musty green, just to have two different paintings equally but the same, like the same universe kind of thing.
Would you do them both in the same frame, or would you do?
And they would look out.
Oh, that's dope.
So he's looking this way, and she would be looking the other way.
So they're still technically alone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They're both in their own worlds, but they're both in their own worlds together.
For sure.
I love the storytelling in paintings, man. It's like when you can encapsulate an entire movie into a single frame.
That's the difficult part. I try my best to put a lot of a story in a painting or a picture.
Yeah.
But sometimes the less the better. Sometimes the less the better, because too much is great, but it gives off a different notion instead of just using simple one directional things. So when I draw, I like to kind of imagine the emotion, how I would feel, and put myself in that scenario. And most of the things that I think about are dark and sometimes cryptid, sometimes morbid, sometimes unimaginable, but I try my best.
I've started studying drawing just so I could appreciate it. Like I'm a filmmaker. I started drawing just to learn, or to actually like appreciate the frame more. Cause like the photography, like it's not like a burst. It's like I'm seeing the image and I'm like, I approach the image like a hunter. I'm like, oh, this is what's today. You know what I mean? Oh, this is like the person that I'm like, I need to photograph today. So I approach it as like, oh, there's like, you know, it's like Pokemon.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
I think that's why Pokemon Snap was so fun. It's such a good game. But it wasn't a heavy influence. But I approach it like that. But the image is already set there, and I'm just reactive to the universe at that point. I'm like, this is what the stage of life has set me.
Yeah.
As filmmaking is a little bit more deliberate. I mean, sometimes studio photography is more deliberate, but on the street, you're reactive. You know what I mean? And your reactions have to be fucking strong, or you're not gonna get shit. You're just gonna take the same photo of a goddamn building.
Right. Are you the type of photographer to go to a certain place and wait for a certain amount of time for the right picture, or are you the type of guy to be spontaneous at the jump of the picture?
It's all spontaneous, but if I see a frame, I'll like just stay, and like I'll like all right, like the other day. I'm actually just getting back into my daily meditation of it, bro. I was dormant. That's actually how this podcast came to really be.
By meditation?
Not meditation, by so I'm a big I have a Fuji. I'm a Fuji X fan. Love him. I have Black Magic Earth. You know what I mean? There's a lot of ways I could take photography, but I'm busy a lot of the time. So like, you know, I need to like I don't care where the image is coming from, as long as I can like get the gesture, like for lack of a better term, like the gesture drawing of what I need. So I had an iPhone SE, pretty old phone. Yeah. But it was whatever. I don't care, as long as I like, you know what I mean. I have my style, and I'm just kind of chilling on the style. So like my SE's fucking lens like I don't know what the fuck happened. It got like demagnetized.
Oh, it
So
fell off?
No, it just demagnetized. So like when it focuses, it just like it shakes a lot. So it's like it's fine. It's like it produces this blur effect, and it's beautiful. It's a wonderful thing. I enjoy it.
Beauty with a mistake.
I'm there's beauty in like in flaw, like a little bit of wabi-sabi of that. So fucking but you know it's kind of shitty when it's like take a photo, like somebody's like, hey man, send me a photo of the space, and I'm like fucking everything's like blurry as fuck. Or when I see something that I need like to be, you know what I mean? I'm like I'm like spraying and seeing if I'm like getting the right shot in it, so it's just like moving and it's like it's not working well. So I kind of fell off with photography for like a while. Like it was like a little bit before Christmas, maybe like November, since I started fucking like really taking photos like every goddamn. I was taking photos every single day for like a year, 2 years. Or not, no, like about a year of just straight every day dropping a new piece or 3.
Isn't that funny how that happens? How like in every forms of art, there's always like moments of your life where you kind of just like decide to let it go, but not really let it go.
Yeah, I notice I only really work with bursts. Like I'll be like, I'm gonna like right now. I think I might take a fucking DJ burst. I want to learn how to DJ.
Do you have ADHD?
I think so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So fucking.
That makes sense.
So when I fucking the lens was fucking up, I was getting like pissed off because anytime I would try to even go and think of taking a photo, like it would fuck up. Once in a while I get a good shot. You know what I mean? I'd be like, oh, this is beautiful. You know what I mean? Even with the fucked up effect. But there's like I'm very picky with my images, so I just got a fucking like a different phone and lenses. I'm like, oh god, I can fucking
Perfect.
just get my shots again, bro.
Right.
And I do shit with the Fuji, but it's like it's usually like very specific time of me going and getting it. But in the process of not being able to do that, I was like, there's still the energy. It's like you still got fuck. So like I started going. I started working on the podcast, and the podcast, it's so much fun, bro. It's a whole.
I can imagine.
I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do a podcast, to be honest with you, but I would speak about things that like jump off the head because I have ADHD.
Yeah.
Right, and I've in the beginning it was almost as if I didn't have it, and I pretended like everyone either was like me or does the things that I do. But as I grew older and as I became more comfortable with who I am, I've realized that it's more of just like an enhancement of someone who has a hard time not just sticking to one thing but focusing in general. And it's a constant tackle. I mean, you could possibly have ADHD. Who knows?
No, I have it. I'm almost positive I have ADHD. I feel like I just end up getting bored doing the same shit.
Yeah, same, for sure. And the only thing I didn't get bored of, or I didn't like let go of, was drawing. And drawing was the only thing in my life that I had complete control over.
Do you find identity in it?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's
for sure.
That's my thing with filmmaking.
For sure.
I guess I'm a podcaster. I guess I'm a music. Like I'm not a crazy musician. I'm not like I'm gonna sit there and study the keys every goddamn day. But I definitely am a filmmaker. I move forward in the process of being a filmmaker every fucking day. The beauty about filmmaking is that it encapsulates not every aspect. It's like the Japanese call it the ikigai. Which is I'm gonna do a short film like pretty soon.
I'm doing a short film.
Yeah. Oh, you've done a short film?
I've done a few, and I'm working with someone to making a horror short film.
Hey, look, I was gonna ask if you were a horror guy.
I love horror. I love horror, which is yeah. I mean, sometimes there's murders in the options. No, it's honestly one of the biggest things that I'm proud of saying because of where I was in my past as a kid, always being afraid of everything, but not knowing why. I just kind of was afraid of going far with my bike, or afraid of going far with anything really that I put my love into, or I had a fear
Trust
of
issues.
I mean, the things that are like, I was afraid of insects. I was afraid of birds. I was afraid of large animals. I'm still afraid of large animals, but I was afraid of like guns, blades, anything that could possibly hurt me.
Ironically,
I was afraid. Right, right. I was afraid of loud sounds, and I don't know. As I got older and as trauma, became a
Yes.
thing in my life,
Yeah.
with certain aspects of it being about death, I've learned that, once you felt a pain of losing something that was so close to you, there is no point in fear anymore. What is to be afraid of if you've lost one of the biggest things that you've loved?
Tell me about your early life now.
Pretty good. Pretty good for someone who didn't have to do much. Pretty good. And it wasn't too hard or dangerous. Again, I was afraid of most things, so I was pretty sheltered. I sheltered myself.
You're from, where are you from?
Here, I was born and raised in Jersey, and I didn't really get to move anywhere other than Jersey. But I've been to places.
What was like growing up around here like?
Not bad. Slow. I've been living in Haledon. I first was born in Wayne. When this whole time I thought I was born in Patterson.
Yeah.
But apparently I was born in Wayne after I needed a birth certificate, and I went to Patterson. They said I wasn't born there. And I was like, I had a whole identity crisis. I was like, there's no way. I mean, my whole life I thought this was it. And then I called my mom, and she was like, no, you're born in Wayne. And I was like, and this whole time you didn't. I
don't even know who
right.
I am
Like,
anymore.
who are you?
Yeah. Are you my real mom? Yeah, man.
No, but it was pretty good. I mean, Patterson's pretty dangerous, but we've moved to Haledon.
It's gotten better.
Has it?
I feel like it's gotten better. It's either gotten better, or like, cause I was a kid, man. I was fucking like, I don't know. I used to like be really worried about getting jumped in Patterson like a lot. Like it was like there's a lot of people like getting fucked up. My friend used to just carry around a fucking like a ninja blade.
like a small one, or
yeah,
like a.
Yeah, he's like, they ain't gonna get me again. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God! Yeah, sounds like
bro,
a
he's got fucking
PTSD.
jumped outside of this place. Yeah, bro. They're, I feel like I don't know. It's either that or I've gotten bigger, and I'm like, it's fucking something I'm afraid of this motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, man.
No, it's actually funny because I got robbed once. Well, I got robbed several times, but I'm saying like I got robbed in person once. I was with a friend of mine, and we got our bike stolen by this guy. And we didn't get hurt, but he had his hand in his shirt,
Yeah.
and intending like, hey, I'm not gonna show you that I got a gun, but you gotta believe me that I do have a gun. But we were kids, so we believed him. Eventually got our bikes back from reporting it to the police. But
Isn't that fucking crazy?
yeah, it felt like it wasn't real, like it was staged or something.
Yeah.
It didn't feel real, but it was real, because I never saw that bike again. I mean, it's not my bike, but
Yeah.
still.
That's fucking nuts.
And I was living in Elizabeth with my father, and we got our house broken into,
Yeah.
and it was crazy because I didn't even know. I was upstairs, and the whole thing happened downstairs. They didn't even go upstairs. I guess they heard me upstairs. I went downstairs, and all the cabinets were open, all the dressers were open. And I was just like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, it was a whole different world.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah. So far, not bad. Not bad. Childhood has been pretty good. Oh, I haven't stopped. As a young kid, I still have pictures of when I was maybe in 4, 5, maybe 6, where I would be drawing or I'd have my sketch pad or pencil, and I remember as a kid I wanted to be like a great artist, be renowned. And the longer I do it, the more I've noticed I don't have to be renowned. I kind of just have to think I am to myself. Be who I want to be, but for myself, not for anyone else. And as I continued living that life, I've learned to love the progress, learned to love the stages, because God would know that I can't even remember what I did last night or a few weeks ago, let alone. But you can kind of remember where you were in the growth of art. So I believe that anyone can draw. Anyone can draw. Anyone can learn to draw as long as they have that willpower to want to draw. Because it's not easy. It never was easy until you get to that stage. But again, it's like imagine if you're on a road, really, really, really long road, and it looks overwhelming to you, almost like a ladder. And you have this rock, and it starts off small, but the more you hold it, the easier it gets to hold. And you decide, you know what, I don't want to hold on to this because it's not going to be worth it for me. There's no point on holding on to this. You let it go, and you keep walking. You could walk for years. And when you look down, that rock is still there, the same place you left it, not grown, it's just there. And you pick it up again, and it is just this about the size of your, little bit below the size of your palm. And it just seems so useless, you know? But if you held on to it for all those years, and if you keep holding on to it throughout, it'll get bigger, and it'll get better. And that's kind of how I kind of keep thinking of as art. That you just something you have to keep doing, kind of like breathing or dancing.
Yeah. That's I found that with photography, man. It's like it's strange. The one thing is when I was younger, I used to be kind of envious of painters because like I was in school for film. I was a photographer and I was in music. I would make music before I like kind of fully went into like I'm gonna be a filmmaker for the rest of my fucking life. And I'm like I don't care what it takes. I don't care whatever the fuck it is. I'm just going to do this for the rest of my life. And I know that doing more for this is like the path. You know what I mean? And it was like everything I'm learning, like I could just go through records, I could read a book, and I could start to formulate a film, you know what I mean? Or I could like write, or I can fucking, you know, make music, or fucking, or, you know, stage actors, or take photography. Like it was all just helping to become a filmmaker. But, you know, the thing is like making a film is like such a, it's a project like process. It's like, you know, in order to even do the medium, you kind of need to have a project that's developed, and it goes through stages of like, here's your show, you know? And it was reliant on so many other people. It was like reliant on like, you know, how like a production process is, and there's so many like there's so many moving parts to it.
Right.
That I'd be envious of painters because you guys can just like, you know, even if there isn't like, so I was in the woods and like I stay sane. I had one with the film commissioner recently. One of the topics was how to remain creatively sane. You know, there's ways like photography, there's ways like writing, you know, performing and shit like that. As a painter, all you need is like, you don't need a human subject. You know, you don't need like, you know, you can create from your mind, and you can like be like, yeah, this is something and it's like something to be able to pass the time creatively and to grow. You know, like being able to paint the frame and being able to create, like, it's like making music from nothing, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, like, it's like making a drum beat on a fucking, on a table, as opposed to like having like, you know, actual drums. Like, it's just the equipment is like not really the arbitrary part of it. It's just a pencil and paper, and you
right.
can have an actual piece.
It's the sense of doing.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard to do it as a filmmaker, but it's more of it's a life thing for me. You know what I mean? Where it's like, and I don't care how long I don't know if I'm ever gonna get any renown or not, but it's like, you know, just to be able to catch a wreck. There's a quote from this thing. It's actually a thing on my Twitter. I only have one pin post on my Twitter, and it's like basically like the mission statement. There's a guy, his movie Style Wars. from like the 1980s. It was like around like it was one of those graffiti documentaries where they just followed like graffiti artists around the Bronx.
Right.
And there's a clip with like this like 15-year-old kid who's just like bombing subway cars, and he's there with his mom, and his mom is like asking him why he wants to be a graffiti artist so bad. So he's like, well, the thought crossed my mind. He's like, if something should happen, I'll go along with it. He's like, but if it doesn't, it's not a thing to me. He's like, because I'm not out here for that. He's like, I'm just out here to bomb. He's like, period. He's like, that's why I started. He's like, I didn't start writing to go to Paris. He's like, I didn't write to do canvases. I started writing to bomb and to destroy all lives. He's like, that's what I'm doing.
Right.
And the interviewer is like, and how long do you think you're gonna do it? And he's like, until I'm finished. So
and he's never finished.
We're never finished, bro.
Never finished. That's kind of like how art is. But I mean, I definitely know what you mean when you say that all an artist needs is like paint, because he could create the rest. But even that can be very difficult for someone who hasn't.
Yeah.
Because anyone can trace. But for you to imagine something to the point of the door being specific, and the windows being specific, and the person being specific, and the roads being specific, and to draw it out exactly the way you imagine meticulous. It is difficult.
Yeah.
It's it almost seems impossible for someone who hasn't done it.
Yeah.
It almost feels like you'll never do it. But it takes steps, it takes stages, and you have to realize that it's going to take you a lot longer than you think. It could take you weeks, months. It could take you a very long time. It could take you quick. The more you do it, the faster you get at it. So you learn to love the process. You learn to love the process. I love the process of drawing. Like, drawing to me is like walking to children. Like, I enjoy it so much. I love making something from my mind, and then it's almost like sculpting. You can just erase the bad lines and make the good ones.
Yeah.
And you're slowly putting it into a shape where you want it.
Yeah.
And it's I could waste 8 hours a day just making a single piece. And I try not to, because I want to do more. And I always like, for you, I get bored fast as well. So even with drawing, I get bored, but not of drawing, just of what I'm drawing. So I can go draw one thing, spend 4 hours on it, be like, I'm gonna do something else. Next drawing, I start work on that, get bored of that, work on something else, and then before I go on this endless loop of not finishing anything, I go back to the first drawing, work on that for another 4 hours, stop that, then the second, then the third, back to the first, then the second to the third, back to the first.
I do that with concepts a lot for shows. Like, I just have like a bunch of different concepts that I like bounce around, and I'm like, oh, this is like a great episode for this. I'm like, oh, this is like, I have like a lot of series. It's very hard to like. I'm like half and half on the fucking on the process of writing, man. Just because like.
Do you find writing difficult?
I don't find writing. I find writing.
Or out of your like element?
No, not at all. I find it to actually be one of my strong points when I'm jamming. Like, I find writing dialogue to be a little bit like not harder, but like when I have two characters that are talking to each other and I really know the characters, like I don't know. I guess, and I think it also goes back to the fucking me working in bursts. Like, I'll sit there and I'll meditate on a fucking on a piece, and I'll be like, yeah, this is the thing, and I'll have I think pictorially. I shoot with shots in mind. Like, I know that's like maybe it might be a bad practice, but I shoot with like, because it's just like I'm so attuned photographically that I'll be like, oh, these are the shots for this thing, like, and everything has its specific like mode. It's like how albums sound differently. Fucking I'll pre-shoot in my mind, like, oh, this is the shot, you know what I mean, and I could block out storyboards like that. And I center not the dialogue, but I center the mood around the music and the shot, and then but it's fucked up because the script is like not arbitrary, but it comes afterward. But I like it when actors understand their character and they're going back and forth. It's fucking like, that's like when they're really in character. It's like when somebody's really, or when you.
I thought you were in character.
When you put you don't write. I haven't written the movie for a person. Like, when I like write, I feel like writing is like a form of release. And you could write something with the intent of like a person. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like, if my De Niro's Neil. Shout out to Neil, by the way. We'll mention this. Found out.
Right.
I've found out before, but Neil's like my De Niro. He acts in like majority of my stuff. And like, finding funny scenarios to put people that you want casted into the thing. You know what I mean? I feel like casting is a creative choice in it as well. But it's like, like, I know that, like, this would be like, you could fucking crush this. Like, you could crush this. You know what I mean? And it's like, when somebody is miscast, that's a lot of directing, honestly. It's just making sure that the person is right for the role. And it's never anything personal. It's just, like, you just gotta fucking make sure that, like, it's serving the literature. Like, we're all servants to the medium that we're doing. Like the actor is the servant of theater. I am the servant of photography and cinema that came before, which is a little bit more of an amalgamation. You're a servant to fucking the paint, bro. Like, I'm a servant to the light when I'm fucking photographing. You know what I mean? It's just like, these are just the mediums we choose. But yeah, man. But I don't know. Like, as I write, like, I find myself, putting the fucking papers on the desk, and then I just snap, and then like I said, I work in bursts. So I'll do like an entire script in like a week, or like a couple days. Or if I do like an editing project, I do the editing in like 4 days. You know what I mean? Like, it's just how I work. Sometimes it's not really the most efficient, but it's like I end up playing a lot of instruments. I realize that I'm not like a virtuoso in anything, but I can keep a beat. But
what kind of instruments do you play?
A little bit of everything, man. I don't mind. I'm not intimidated by them anymore. Like, people who go and are like, oh, I'm like, like, I'm not intimidated by a lot of shit anymore, man. That's the one thing I like about being older. Maybe it calls back a little bit to the being early years, man. But like, I don't know, I'd just be like, oh, like, I don't know how to play, like, I don't know how to produce a track, or I don't know how to do this. Now I'm like, I don't know how to DJ. I'm like, I should learn how to DJ. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm like, I feel like that would be fucking fun. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like learning the saxophone would be fun. And it's not like, I'm not like, oh, no, I'm going to suck.
Do you saxophone?
What's up?
You saxophone?
No, I don't. But I would.
Is that the next thing you're gonna learn?
Is that the verb for saxophone? Do you use saxophone?
Yeah, for sure.
Is it sax?
Yeah. Do you sax? Bro, you sax?
Bro, you sax?
Bro.
You even sax, bro?
I've saxed once.
You saxed? I had sax this morning.
Yeah, man, fuck that. I'll never sax again.
Oh, you didn't sax with your ex, did you?
Oh, you did, didn't you? No, for sure.
But another side shout out to Neil, bro. This is
Neil will be listening.
Yeah, Neil.
Okay,
sometimes.
Sure. Hey, Neil, what's up, man?
This guy is a patron of the legendary underdog.
I mean, technically, it's underground.
It is. It's an underground underdog smash tournament that ran for a long time.
So
Gil is one of the patrons, bro.
Funny story about that. I was taught or told by a friend about a Smash tournament being at the underdog. And I'm not the best at Smash Bros, but I do find tournaments fun, regardless whether I lose or win.
Yeah.
Just because I like to see other people's, like, skills.
Yeah.
Especially with N64s.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. I feel like you're literally playing with a rock and stick.
Yeah.
With the Joy-Cons and the N64 controller.
Yeah.
But when I went there, I wanted to have my name almost anonymous, so I used the name Asshat, and
Asshat.
I don't know why, but I did. But I rolled with it. I'm the type of guy that doesn't really ask as much questions as they should, but they do ask a lot.
Well, if you're getting four-stocked by Asshat,
Right.
you know what I mean? That's like,
Right.
you know, a
Right.
little salt in the wound.
Of course. Of course. You don't want to die from Asshat. Like, imagine getting stabbed from a guy named Asshat.
Yeah.
You wouldn't let that go. But oh my gosh.
That's all good.
So I go by Asshat at the Smash tournament. I haven't been there in a while, but that's how I guess I've met Neil. Again, I'm better with faces than names, but I'm sure if I've seen him
as well. Shout out.
Yeah,
shout
yeah,
out
for
to
sure.
Mr. Get in Tune.
For sure. So it's funny that you know Neil.
Yeah, no, Neil's is one of my best friends.
So if he sees this, I'm down for another Smash tournament unless they stop doing that.
It's actually here.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Like,
So they moved from the Underdog to this place because this is a huge improvement from the Underdog. Yeah.
Oh, it's not. Shout out to Underdog too, man. But,
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I don't know what's going on with Neil and Underdog, but what's it called? I don't know. I think the wife or something. Like, I think there's like something going on with like the owner's wife. She has like, cancer or something.
Damn.
The guy from Barstool recently went over there. Just did a huge like donation thing for them. Shout out to fucking Dave. Fucking what's it, Portnoy. But no, Neil. Frequency, he might be here tonight. It's Mondays with Nav today. But on the first Saturday, either the first Saturday or the second Saturday of every month. I think it's the first Saturday. First Saturday of every month, every 2 months. It's down here, phenotype. Neil maybe brings all the whole community out over here. Everybody
For sure.
just plays.
Is there more people than the last time I went there? Because last time I went there, it was only like maybe like 10, 12 people.
Still a lot of fucking people for Underdog. Fuck
right, for sure.
Yeah, man. You know, they just stay in the community, in the Smash community, man. It's a really cool fucking community. As I'm kind of a voyeur of it, but you know.
Oh, you're the lawyer of the Smash community?
I just don't like, you know. I'm like, I could rock.
Yeah.
I'm a big Mario Tennis fan, and I like golf. Sometimes I haven't been playing N64 for a while.
I like Mario Kart.
Mario Kart. I haven't gotten so big on Mario Kart.
Do they do a Mario Kart? Do they do different?
We just do like, there's a lot of retro games here, but Smash is the main one. Smash is like, you know, is when it takes it all.
For sure. I never win. Just because the N64.
I've been hanging out with these guys for like fucking before COVID, pre-COVID, we were hanging out in New York. Haven't won a single game.
Yeah, you know what?
4 years.
It's okay. It's okay. It's completely okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. You know, I understand because they're so good. They're so good. They're in their own level. It's not even. I'm not even compared.
But then you play a fucking innocent bystander.
Right.
Fucking destroy.
And you feel bad because you feel like the people that defeat you all the time. You know,
Like,
am I the monster?
Canceled,
I'm the monster now, and I feel bad.
We're little monsters in our own ways. Anyway.
Let's bring it back.
Where do you see yourself going with the work, man?
Wherever it takes me.
Yeah.
Where it takes me. I'm actually trying to do tattoos now. So I'm getting into tattoos. I've done a few tattoos on people. They came out pretty good.
Nice.
I'm getting better with my line work. Again, it's a progress, and you gotta love the progress. Just seeing it develop is the beauty of it. That's the fun.
Heavy pressure, man.
No.
When you're doing tattoos, I mean, like, I think like at that point your body has so much muscle memory for drawing.
Yeah,
it's like
it's difficult. It's difficult because it wants something thinner than a vibrating capsule in your hand. But you know what? It's definitely something you have to learn to do if you want to see your art in other forms.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to take extra steps to find other ways to do other things. But this is definitely something I see myself doing in the next however so many years I have left. But I'm not saying that in intention that I'm gonna go soon. I'm saying like I don't know how life works
Yeah.
with people's expiration dates. It could be
mentioning earlier that you just got diagnosed with
Yeah.
with MS.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
What is
So, multiple sclerosis is a disease where the nervous system accidentally attacks, or certain cells attack the nervous system, something like that. I'm not too knowledgeable. I should be, but I'm not out of choice. But
anxiety probably.
anxiety, stress can cause flare-ups in MS. So I've been stuck with that. MS affected my spine, my lower spine, so it attacked my legs, and I was numb from the waist down. So it was interesting how it happened because my brother has it. So I guess it's passed down by families or by blood, I suppose. So it was a little difficult, but I kind of pretend like I don't have it. I kind of feel like this is just something that like old age, something that's inevitable.
Yeah.
But I just kind of pretend like I don't have it.
Yeah.
But it hurts.
Yeah, I got scoliosis.
It's uncomfortable. Scoliosis?
Yeah, really bad.
I hate scoliosis.
It's fucking bad. My back
sucks.
It's fucking trash, dog.
Yeah, for sure. I have a friend, a little sister who has scoliosis. Yeah. I think. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I don't know why she was like.
It's bad, bro. My fucking spine. Like,
yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
It's always something different. It's never like something that's repetitive. It's like it could be different angles, different.
Yeah. It's weird. I had that when I was like 20. When I was like 21, it got bad, bro. Where I felt like I couldn't really.
Is that something you can get, or is it something that's you get as childhood?
I feel like I just had shitty fucking parents. Like, I don't know. Like, they just didn't like. I was growing as a kid, and like nobody like supervised me like ever. Like, you know what I mean? There was never like. Do your homework or fucking like brush your teeth. You know what I mean? It was like it was just like left, and it was like I would walk like long ass distances with fucking like a bunch of books and shit, and I never had a real bed.
You've never had a real bed?
Never had not like even now technically I don't have a fucking real bed. I just like I just end up crashing cast. No, I just sleep on my girlfriend's. But what's it called?
If I could clarify, what do you mean by like not had a real bed? Is it like just like newspaper?
I had brother. No, no. That was in Santa Monica. I was just straight up homeless. But that shit was shitty. There wasn't like a newspaper though. You sleep on the beach when
I mean, that's kind of nice.
Actually, you know what the thing is, man. Fucking, like I said, man. Getting older, man. I just not scared of shit anymore. It's like I've been through like I've been on really high highs, I've been on really low lows. You know what I mean? And it's like there are days that scare me that I'm like, but living in the future of those days is the anxiety. You're not actually present if you're sitting there fucking trying to like, oh man, like my fucking grandma's gonna die, or like, oh man, we're gonna like do this. It's like I'm not living in the present. There's ways you don't like you could prevent shit by like just doing your due diligence, but yeah, man, fucking but as a kid, bro, I just like we just always had couches. Like I would always sleep on the couch. You know what I mean? Like I just like I just play video games like this, and fucking I feel like it fucked up my spine. And when you catch it, it's just like too late, and then it's just part of your fucking life. You know what I mean? You just like I go for it, but it's like I get like little. There's ways you could like fucking like offset it, but it's like it's just a daily thing of like.
It's a struggle.
I have to reset my spine every goddamn day.
Does it hurt?
Sometimes.
Or is it just like uncomfortable?
Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's really uncomfortable. But when I was 21, it was really bad. It was like I feel like I couldn't move my legs, couldn't like get up. It's fucked up, bro.
Damn.
Fucked up. I actually quit school. But it's weird because there's just like I feel like a lot of shit happens for a reason. Because if I was just like I'm gonna go to Hudson County College and like stay on this whole like thing, it's like just living in this like it's just I'm appreciative of my journey, man. Even if it's like just dealing with low shit, dealing with like,
It's actually funny that you said that because these past few years have been more of like a road of not just self-improvement but self-enlightenment. And my mother's she is a Reiki practitioner. and she like teaches like she's like a life coach.
Reiki.
Yeah.
Reiki.
Reiki. Yeah.
Yeah. What is that?
She can tell you better than I can.
Okay.
Just
Give me,
because.
like, the gist.
But it's basically like chakra cleansing, self healing, using like the flow of energy, and you can like basically heal people with the flow of energy by removing bad energy and replacing it with good energy. Kind of like a flow, almost like a river. But her shop is actually up in Prospect Park as well, on North 7th.
Get a shout out? I don't know.
I mean, how do the shots usually work?
I don't know. Just fucking Reiki shop on North 7th. We encourage shameless advertising on Afternoon Episodes.
Yeah,
but my buddy Reese's episode. He's like, I'm gonna let you talk about, you know what I mean, your illness. The Sinners is coming out on October 13th.
It's okay. So I mean, so the store is in North 7th Street. I don't know the exact address. I should probably know the exact address.
Oh, good. No, it's all good.
Anyways, there's a store in North 7th, Prospect Park, of Reiki Wellness Center. She does really great work. And what was I mentioning with this? Where was I going with this?
It's just like it's how to clean people's like energy.
Oh, that's what she does. But there was a reason why I brought her up. Anyways, I was going on this whole like self-enlightening phase, and you're mentioning how like anxiety can control whether your tomorrow can be.
Yeah.
And it dwells on what yesterday was.
Yeah.
And so I've taken a few things that help me realize certain things in my life. And tomorrow doesn't exist. Yesterday doesn't exist. They're just concepts that you've made yourself to keep in track of time. But it's just today. And are you a firm believer of laws of attraction?
Yeah, I believe a lot of manifestation.
Okay, so basic with the laws of attraction, if you project a certain reality and you believe in that certain reality, it will be true.
Yeah.
Because it's in your path already. It's you already it. But in terms of tomorrow not existing and yesterday not being a thing, manifestation is just reshifting your reality into something that your frequency is matched onto. So whether you have a great sense of, I'm going to be a famous singer, I'm going to be a famous dancer, but you're holding on to that dream with fear or sorrow or anger, you're going to get that frequency. And those things can look good but be bad. And most of the times what I'm trying to realize now is that there isn't much to fear because you'll always be okay. There's always going to be bad times, but there's always going to be good times. And there's another person who said this whole phrase of like something bad happening, then something good happening, then something bad happening, then something good happening. That there's always going to be this something to look forward to. So I don't know. I feel like I'm understanding what life is and what I have to do. And it's not as serious as you portray it to be. Like, I feel like life is actually pretty easy. Pretty easy. And the whole point of it is to enjoy. Enjoy the best parts of it. Even the worst parts of it. Because the worst parts can give you the best outcomes. And I'm trying to hold on to that. Because me holding on to it will give me the best outcome. Because holding on to love, holding on to happiness, holding on to the things that make you happy, and the source of love is the only thing that's going to make you feel and hold on to that frequency. So tomorrow doesn't exist, so don't worry about it. Just do today really good.
Hell yeah. Where can we find you out on social media?
I mean, you could follow me on nightmare.cafe. It's where my nightmare page where you can send me your nightmares, and I will draw your nightmares.
Really?
Yeah, I've done a few actually. Marketing isn't easy for me. I'm not a market person. I'm not a salesman.
Yeah.
I try, but it doesn't mean I'm going to be good at it.
Yeah.
I just like to create.
Yeah.
And my motto, or what you said, you're kind of, I forgot actually what you said, but my motto is the more you know, the less you fear. So when you have a nightmare, most of the time, you are afraid of what you created in your head, or something that you've experienced is in your head now. But when you let out your dreams, or even on a note, or if you're writing it out, but when you have a nightmare and you draw it out, it's now a thing to you. It's now a drawing, something that you hold, where you can romanticize, and not in a romantic way, but it's in your hands. So next time you dream, that won't be scary to you, because it's a drawing. It's something that you have. It's kind of like therapy, but cheaper.
Oh, that's great. Jesus. So you take submissions on people's nightmares.
Yeah.
That's fucking great. Dude.
Yeah. Sometimes I get people from like Canada.
Yeah.
I've gotten people from. One guy was from the UK.
Yeah.
I'm open for anything. I love interpretations of people's fears. I just find fear fascinating as it is. How I could have so much fear as a kid, and then growing up to see it so mundane is just interesting.
Alright, bro. Gil, ladies and gentlemen. Afternoon FM. Stay beautiful, people.